Welcome to day 27 of Pydle. Pydle is a daily puzzle that you need to solve by writing Python code. It's especially good if you're learning Python or if you're already an experienced programmer and you just want to have some fun solving a puzzle every day. It shouldn't be too difficult. Main things you need to know about are loops and kind of logic statements like if. Today's Pydle is a little bell, so see how you get on solving that. So looking at yesterday's Pydle, we've got a watch face and with the time at 3 o'clock if you use your imagination. It is, well, not 100% symmetrical, but most of it is symmetrical. So I'm going to use a Cartesian coordinate system, so that's x, y in the in the center, and it goes from -2 to +2 on both axes. I'm also going to do that in a single loop, just to save some lines. So if you want to have some fun with Pydle, then try and solve it in as few lines as possible. And to make it a bit more complicated, I'm also going to use list comprehension. So just bear with me. So we want x and y in, so we're going to use list comprehension. And the syntax for that is square brackets. So we want a tuple that's going to represent x and y out of that loop. So let's just complete that loop for I in range 25. Using a single loop with the 25 cells, but now we're going to use a trick to convert them into actual coordinates. Normally we do I modulus 5 for the x, but to convert that to the Cartesian coordinates, we also need to do -2. Okay, and for the y, we need I integer division and -2. So that basically converts the coordinates into Cartesian coordinates. Because it's mostly symmetrical, that's going to be helpful for us. Okay, so now we're going to need some if statements for conditional filling of the cells. So let's first do the 4 white cells, and I think we encountered this in a previous puzzle, and the way to do that is if absolute value of x times y equals 4. Okay, so that's 0, 0, so that would be -2 for x and +2 for y, and if you multiply them together you get -4. Absolute value is 4, and that is true for all the corners. So if absolute x times y equals 4, then we do Pydle x plus 2 to convert it back into Pydle coordinates, and because the y-axis is inverted, we can do 2 minus y. No character and white. Okay, let's see if that worked. Okay, 4 corners, we've got white. Now, what is convenient is that every time we're going to do an else if, and because we already eliminated a number of cells with the kind of if statements before, our logic kind of can be simpler as we go on. Okay, now for the black cells. So we can see we don't have to worry about the corner cells. They've already executed. So it's basically if absolute value of x is 2, so that either 2 or minus 2 in the absolute value, and the same with y. If y is either minus 2 or 2, so we say absolute value of y is 2. Okay, so let's write it out. Else if abs x equals 2 or absolute y equals 2, then let's just copy that on over. That's going to stay the same. And make that black. So thinking about that, because black is the background, what we can actually do is just pause. Just for our own assurance, let's make that another color. Let's make that blue for now. And then when we finish, when we're at the end, we can just do a pause there. So pause basically is if you, because you need a body in a if statement or a for loop, but if you don't want it to do anything, you can just say pause. Or we can just fill with black. Okay, for the yellows, so we've got, we could have done the same as x, absolute value of x equals 1, or absolute value of y equals 1. But that would have basically filled in the whole a square, and we don't want that. So let's just do the actual lines we actually want. So else if, so x equals minus 1, so that whole of that square needs, that line needs to be filled in, or y equals minus 1, so those are those two lines, and then we only want that single yellow cell there, and so we do or, and the value for the property that's going to be true for that is x times y equals 1. Okay, then we want to colon, and then we've got what we want to execute. Let's see, we still have that in the clipboard. We want that yellow. Okay. Okay, so we can put the pass in there. Okay, there it's black. Okay, and then we can still see the only thing that's remaining, and the background color is shining through, is the actual time. So all we need is an else. We don't have to do anything special because we've already had conditions for all the other cells. So all we need now is just for that Pydle and that one to be red. Okay. So that was a really fun Pydle. Hope you were able to solve that. And if you weren't able, just go back, use the arrows there, and then you can go back to previous days. And if you just follow this video, you can do it yourself. So copy that. So I'm going to post that to Reddit. So have a look at today's Pydle, and I will see you tomorrow.